You're listening to the Intuitive Strength Podcast, and I'm your host, Brie Ogletree. I'm an online fitness coach teaching women how to use strength training and nutrition to build a body they love, but I'm also a strong believer in holistic wellness, which includes all aspects of your life. While this podcast is heavily focused on fitness and nutrition, we'll also dive into other topics that attribute to total wellness to include mental health, financial health, relationships, and stress management, to name a few. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the episode. And welcome back to the Intuitive Strength Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. If you are new here, welcome. This week is going to be a pretty quick episode. We are going to talk about the minimum dose effect and what that is, why that's important, and how that applies to you when it comes to reaching and maintaining your fitness goals. So first and foremost, if you are new here or if you're not subscribed already, please be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to or tuning in to this episode. I post on YouTube, Spotify, all the popular podcasting platforms. If you don't want to miss an episode, you want more information on how to get the best results in the gym when it comes to your fitness journey, then definitely make sure that you are subscribed wherever you're listening or tuning in from. Last week, I talked about how to create your most effective workouts, and I basically broke down my training template, pretty much how I train clients, how I train myself, and the methodology that I follow to get effective training, to get effective workouts in, and to get the results that I want to get out of my workouts. So if you didn't listen to that episode, I highly recommend that you do. If you're currently struggling with what to do in the gym, or maybe you just need a little bit more guidance when it comes to your workouts, this will help you get a solid plan going. So I highly recommend listening to that episode and then also downloading my free workout template, Lifting Made Easy. You can grab that at train.brioogletree.com/lift, and it's absolutely free. But I pretty much break that down for you. And why each section is important, what to think about in each section, and how to create the best workouts for you. Okay, so we talked about that last week, and then I briefly touched on what's called the minimum dose effect, and why that's important, but I'm going to break that down even further. It's going to be a quick episode, but I'm going to break it down even further for you in this episode. So the minimum dose effect is simply this. It is the least amount of exercise that you can do to maximize your results. So the least that you need to do in order to get the results that you want to get out of the workouts that you're doing. So this not only applies to lifting weights and like physique goals, but it applies to really any performance goal or fitness goal that you can think of. It's doing the least amount and getting the most out of the training that you're doing. Now, why is this important? This is important because this is going to help you avoid overtraining or doing more than you need to be doing, which is really important in training consistency and just getting the results that you want to get out of the gym and not wasting time doing it. When I was growing up and when I was getting into fitness and lifting and things, like a core message that I was receiving was, go harder, go home, do as much as you can, work harder, work harder each time, put in a little bit more effort each time. And I do not subscribe to that mentality. And it is changing in the fitness industry. That is not like the overarching theme nowadays, which is really good to see. But I still feel like there's like this underlying message of like, you have to like push yourself ridiculously to get the results that you want to get. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. Yes, we want to work hard, but we don't need to be working hard unnecessarily, and we don't need to be beating ourselves down as we do it. So this is just a smarter way to go about our goals and working out. So the minimum dose effect is simply just doing the least that you need to do in order to get the results that you want to get. So when it comes to lifting focused workouts, when it comes to strength training, this is important because we don't need to be doing unnecessary work and unnecessary volume that is going to hinder us either in the long term or prevent us from continuing to show up for our training in the short term. So if we're doing more than we need to, if we're doing more volume, so more workout volume, if we're doing more sets and reps than we really need to be doing, it can lead to overtraining. It can lead to incredible amounts of soreness or delayed onset muscle soreness that is going to prevent you from showing up to your next session. In the long term, it can lead to burnout. It can lead to inconsistency in training because you're not showing up for your sessions because you're still recovering from those previous sessions. So yeah, that is something that we definitely want to avoid. We want to make sure that we're getting in adequate recovery, better performance, and we're getting better energy overall from our workouts. So our workouts should be adding to our lives and adding some type of value to our life, whether that's getting a specific fitness result, or they should just be enhancing our lives in general. So we're becoming better movers. Overall daily tasks are better. Maybe we're less stressed. Right. And if you're finding that it's doing the opposite, so you're not recovering well, your energy's super low, you're finding that you're super sore all the time and not really recovering well from your workouts, you may want to visit this exact principle right here. Are you doing maybe too much to where it's actually hindering you in everyday life? Your workouts are hindering you in everyday life and not actually adding to your life. So the minimum dose effect is somewhere that I highly recommend that you look if that is something that you are experiencing. So what I do want to say about this is soreness is definitely normal in training, but it shouldn't be to the point where it's like crippling you, right? It's crippling everything, your daily life and what you're doing. So how do we know what the minimum dose effect is for us when it comes to strength training? So this is going to change from person to person, but what I've found and what I've noticed in my last 10 years of coaching people is that anywhere from 2 to 4 sets of an exercise or a superset is more than enough to get the results and get the benefit of that exercise and that training out of what you're doing. So anything more than that is probably a little bit too much. If you are just, an everyday person, you're not an athlete, you're just, trying to maybe improve your physique a little bit, maybe get a little bit stronger, 2 to 4 sets is really a great place to be. And it's like the sweet spot and it's optimal for you if you're just an everyday person. Maybe if you're like a performance athlete, if you perform, if you compete, if you have a sport, like a specific sport, you may want to do more sets, but I find that 2 to 4 range when it comes to sets is usually optimal. Same thing when it comes to training. So workout days, like how many days per week is optimal for you to work out. In my experience, my personal experience and my experience with working with people over the last 10 years, anywhere between 2 to 4 days per week is usually optimal to see the results that you want to see, especially if you're super consistent with your training plan, right? That's usually more than enough. Anything over that, it can be difficult to recover from things. It might be hard time-wise to fit things in. It could lead to other symptoms like what I've experienced in the past. I went over this in episode 82, kind of like my past experience with overtraining and over exercising. I experienced a lot of brain fog, high anxiety. I wasn't recovering well, high fatigue, panic attacks, all the things. So again, if that's something that you're experiencing and you notice that you have a really high training volume, those two may be linked and that may be something that you want to look at. But the minimum dose effect, I think, is a good thing to consider because it's like, oh, I don't have to like go above and beyond. It's like literally like, what's the least amount I can do to get the results that I want to get? And I think that's a good mentality to have when it comes to exercise so that we don't get into like those excessive training cycles, like something that I've experienced, or we're just not doing a whole bunch to where we feel like we can't recover and we can't feel good from our training and we can't get the results that we want to get out of our training. I think this is another concept that helps us realize like exercise should make us feel better. It should make us feel more energized at the end of the day. And if it's not doing that, then again, this is something that maybe we want to revisit. So I just wanted to bring this concept into your awareness if this is something that you're struggling with. Or if you're just getting started, this is also like a good mentality to have when it comes to exercise, because it's like, oh, like not what it's not like, what do I have to add, or like, what more do I have to do? It is like, oh, what's like the least amount that I have to do? So, in order to get the results that I want to get. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, this was super quick. I do have that free template available for you. You can grab that at train.realgirltree.com/lift. And the previous episode, episode 83, I dive into exactly how to program, why you want to do those certain sections of the workout, and in that order. All of that is in the previous episode. So if there's something specific that you want me to cover on the podcast, please let me know. I'm always looking for ideas and ways to help you along in your journey. This is like my best free resource that I have available to you. So if you have something specific that you want me to go over, please let me know. I am all ears. And you can shoot me a message either here. I think there's a link below for a voice message if you want to send me a voice memo. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Briogletree if you want to ask me a question there. I also post stuff there as well that's that I think is helpful along your journey. So definitely make sure that you're following me over there as well. And lastly, be sure to subscribe for so that you're notified when new episodes come out. And if you found this episode helpful, please be sure to share it with a loved one, with a friend, anyone that you think would find this episode valuable. All right, I will talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.